They may not have much to go on, and maybe they do, and they're just not telling us. But police investigating the young habitual runaway who was found dead in the trunk of a car owned by an up-and-coming R&B singer have one big thing to be thankful for, and that is that the car was a Tesla, a 2023 Model Y, to be exact. That stands out to me because I have one, and like all Teslas, the Model Y is battery-powered, but it runs on information like no other car on the road. It has cameras and sensors and satellite connections that take in information constantly and send out information just as often. So what information might David's Tesla be able to share about the final moments of Celeste Rivas Hernandez? My next guest knows a lot about that. Jason Lewis is one of the nation's top digital forensic experts. In his former life as a police officer, he worked with the Secret Service on its, quote, electronic crimes task force. And now he trains police at the National Computer Forensic Institute, part of Homeland Security. Full disclosure, he recently worked on a multi-million-dollar case against Tesla while driving a Tesla himself. Welcome to the program. My goodness, it's good to have you, Jason. Let's dive right in. I know that my car has 8 cameras on the outside and 1 camera pointing right at me as the driver on the inside. But what I don't know is if it is recording me at all times, and I wasn't even aware of it.
Well, it depends on if you're actually using autopilot or not. Because if you're using the autopilot feature, then yes, the inside camera is recording at all times. But if you're not using the autopilot feature or any of the self-driving features, then it's not actually recording you. Generally speaking, you can opt in to share some of the data from that internal camera with Tesla, but it would only do that according to the manual. It's only supposed to do that during crashes or critical events.
So if you're, a bit of an idiot like me, I get in the car and I figure out how to drive it and I drive, and I don't look any deeper into all the little special things 20 layers down. Effectively, what do you expect this particular data in this Tesla might tell us about who was on the outside of the car, getting into the driver's seat, driving it to the abandoned location, and maybe opening that trunk and closing it for the last time? What will we know about that?
Well, it's all going to depend on if Sentry mode was turned on. Because if Sentry mode was actually activated on the vehicle, then it's doing a lot of recording of video footage from its 8 external cameras. And so if that was the case, then you'd actually have clips of the people opening the door, a clip of someone opening the trunk, and that could possibly be recovered by the police. Now, if Sentry mode's not turned on, then it's not going to be doing any of those recordings. And what you'll get is recordings when the vehicle's in motion versus when it's stationary.
So this vehicle was in motion, presumably with Celeste's body in it, because it was abandoned. Do you think there'll be data that's retrievable about where it drove from before it ended up in its final resting spot in the abandoned street side prior to being towed? And will it register when that trunk closed for the last time?
Yes, it should. It's all a matter of whether or not that data is still on the car or if it's on the Tesla servers. So your vehicle actually communicates with the Tesla servers almost constantly, and it's usually doing that over a cellular connection, but it can also do it over Wi-Fi. So it's sending a treasure trove of information back to the Tesla servers. And so as long as the information is still either on that server or the car, then you can get a lot of information such as when were the doors open, when was the trunk opened, and then as long as the memory stick that records all the videos hasn't been removed from the vehicle, because that is the only thing that a individual that owns the vehicle can actually do to wipe data effectively and quickly, is to pull the memory stick. And if you do that, that's where all the video recordings are stored for the Sentry mode.
Can they do it from a remote location? Can they wipe what's on that memory stick from a remote location?
Yes, actually they can. So you can just do it with your Tesla app. And so as you said in your introduction, I have a Tesla, so I use Sentry mode, and I can go in and look at those videos at any time. I can actually activate some of the cameras straight from my smartphone. And so if you do that, you can watch the videos, and then you can also delete them from the internal memory of the car from your app.
Is there a delete file? Is there a delete file? It's like, if I can delete something off my computer, the police can still find it. Is it the same with the Tesla?
It all depends because of the type of memory that it's using. It's like a really fancy thumb drive, basically. And so if they get that drive out of the car rather quickly, then yes, there's a very good likelihood they can recover those deleted videos. But if they were deleted and then a lot of other videos were created after the fact, then they might not be able to recover them, such as the car sat for, say, 8 days and the Sentry mode kept activating after they deleted all the video footages. Then there is a less likelihood that they'll actually be able to retrieve the video of the body being placed in the vehicle.
And I think you already mentioned that we will know when the trunk was last opened and closed, correct?
Yes, the vehicle does keep track of that, but it's a matter of whether or not the police are going to be able to get that information.
Meaning, will Tesla play ball, or will they have to subpoena Tesla?
Exactly. So the information is on the vehicle, but it's really hard to get off the vehicle. And on a 2023 Model Y, it's near impossible for anyone but Tesla to actually get that data off of the vehicle due to the encryption the vehicle now has.
Yeah, they've been helpful before when that Cybertruck blew up at the hotels. Elon Musk's company handed over all sorts of information, and we found out everything about that guy who did it. Last quick question. Once that final trunk closed, is there data that will record as to whether it's just one person who got in the driver's side and drove it to where it is, or will it record that a passenger door may have opened as well, and we might know if more people are involved in this sinister act?
Yes, you should be able to see what doors were open. And also, if it had any passengers, it does log whether or not there's passengers in the vehicle. It doesn't have like a scale to tell you weight, but it will tell you if there were passengers sitting there, and it's part of the seatbelt and airbag system.
I keep my Sentry mode on at all time, and my favorite feature is that from a remote location, if I see someone getting near to it, I can press a button and the car will fart. It will actually play fart sounds and like freak out the people who are too close. There's all sorts of other sounds too, but it really is sort of a remarkable vehicle. Jason, I could speak to you forever. Thank you so much for all of this tonight. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.